I've actually did quite a bit of more belt sanding just to clean up all around the edges after we have the axle put in, and this is how it flips. Pretty neat. There's still a tiny bit of rub. Let's see, I think it's this corner. Yes, it's a little bit over here. Take care of that a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and put the top on and cut it and install it, and then obviously you have to clean up the edges around that and make sure the spin like this is still the same. But this is kind of like how it's supposed to be. So next step is the top. And got the two tables kind of just butt up together just to see how it looks, and also want to make sure that when I put the top on, the hardboard top, that it would pretty much line somewhat flush with the other table, which is also for this table, of course, you know, with the issues we had before of, you know, the legs kind of like, you know, twisting and trying to get it all square back up. There's on this one here, obviously because of the whole flip top idea, I mean, I guess one of the ways you can keep it more square is actually not notching out for the front, but I really wanted to have it done this way. You could also just kept the beam in there and just make your flip top shorter. But what I did have on this one, I had a high spot over there and a low spot over there, which is why you see scrap pieces of the hardboard right there just to kind of build up. But I took, after I built it up, kept another scrap piece and just, you know, line it up until it gets smoother, or actually planes out with the other one. And over here I had a high spot, which I had to go ahead and belt sand down. But long as it stays pretty true to it, I'm okay with it. That's kind of part of the thing when it comes with, you know, building projects straight off your head. You know, you're going to run into some little issues, but you just gotta work through it, not panic. It's no point of just like, you know, taking half of this thing apart just to fix a little high spot or a low spot. You can just fudge it and tweak with little things a little bit. So in my case, I just took the belt sander and just grinded it down a little bit and float some things, and over here it'll just float out a little bit. Also made holes to actually lock in the flip top. This is just a temporary little thing here that I put. It's pretty much just a stake, a ground stake, but it's got the right diameter I like. My only issue is I don't have the drill bit that I have is not exactly what I need it to be. It's just a hair too small, but the next size up I have is kind of too big, and I don't want the top to be like all super wobbly. So I just put the tighter one in, and I just got some hogging and boring out to do, so that way I can at least pull this out with ease. With this I just have to kind of like, you know, I have to kind of pry it out, and I'm going to have two on one in each end, and that I'll just deal with later. But the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put the top on it. Oh yeah, and here I'll show you what the flip top is like, but I have to kind of, like I said, the hole for this is still kind of tight, so I just have to give it a little bit of love, not too much. There it goes. Just put that there. And oh, by the way, if you notice here on the other side here, I had to piece this in because, well, I ran out of a solid piece of that, but I had scrap pieces. So, and then in a nutshell, it's actually kind of good. It's kind of like one of those happy accidents, but it's also, you know, like a black cloud. It's a black cloud. You find the black cloud with the silver shoe. So, and the reason for that is, well, I'm going to put my 12-inch planer. That thing weighs a ton. That thing is heavy. But bolting it just to particle board, and when it's on the underside, stored underneath here, it's just going to fall right through. So at least this way, I'm not going to put the hardboard on this yet until, because in here I'm going to add more bracing on the inside so I have something to screw it to. Also, I'm going to put my bench vise on this end and my bench grinder over there. I want to make sure that way it has something to securely hold it, because the particle board itself, I really don't think it'll actually last. It'll just fall through with no matter what I screw it into. So I'll end up just putting more reinforcement studs somewhere in there. So I'll just measure that up and kind of unscrew that when I get to that point. But first, really now, is just to put the top on this side. I'm going to use this as the side for nothing to bolt to. So it'll be just a solid open area when I need bigger space. And then of course, like I said before, make the thing to fill in over there when I'm not using the chop saw. So that's the next thing right now is, well, actually I want to go ahead and, like, you know, do a slight little grind down of this so it's a little bit more smoother. You don't even have, what you can also do if you're kind of a little worried about this is you can build up a little bit and get some Bondo and just flow it down a little bit. I'm okay with that right now, but if you want to do that, you could do that too. But this is my build and not your build. I just go ahead and show you what I did, and obviously I have to show you my mistakes, so that way you learn from mistakes, in case if any of you runs into a problem, it's like, hey, you know, it's not the end of the world. Do a little trick here and there and you'll be back up and running. There's no point of giving up and destroying what you've already worked so far into just for a little silly little thing. You know, just do your little mods. And I'm showing you how I did my little mods to solve a problem that, heck, you may run into and not really think about. But I'm also so sure I'm going to have some more tightness in here, because I can feel a little rub. I may just deal with that too. But I want to get the hardboard on and start doing the little bullshit stuff. Get it more close to where we can say done. Check it out, got the top on there, and it's still spins. Yes, after I put the top on, I had to do some more cleaning up and grinding just to make sure it spins. So you'll probably have that same problem too. You put one of these on, it's like, hey, it's rubbing. Well, you gotta actually clean up some more and more and more. So that's where I'm at with this. I just kind of clamped these two together, and actually, as I'm thinking about it, I may actually keep it like this, so that way I can quickly take this thing apart and put it back together. Because I was going to plan a bolt in it, but then I'd have to get underneath and unbolt and do all this other stuff. But I think I'm going to get a couple clamps just for this, just to do at the legs. And even with just these two, it's pretty, it's there. It's just really holding it together. Something I noticed I didn't like, that it's off on both sides, but the tops are lined up. I'm not worried about that either. But if I had to do it again, stuff I've learned from this one, I would definitely do better. And on the subject of that, if I ever decide to do another one of these, maybe I will, but not anytime soon. Maybe in 5-10 years, I'll probably do this out of steel, and that way I'll take up learning to weld. But kind of like the same premise of this, we're getting down to finishing this thing up. Of course, what's left is the little thing to put there when the chop saw isn't there. And I gotta make another hole for over here, so when this thing is upright over here, it will stay locked. Well, we are back at it again to the table today. Today, I'd like to show you where I've got what I've done and what we're doing so far from the last time we spoke. Is obviously, you look right here, hey, some projects are going on. The only thing that's kind of new as of right now, I added power. Just added a power strip right up there, kind of central to everything, where everything is going to be. So I'm going to make a couple little access ports to some of the stuff here, just to feed it nice and neat underneath here. But as of right now, the next thing I'm working on is the whole dust collection system for this. It's pretty much gonna be straightforward here. Going to have it kind of central, like an input, which is marked right here. It's pretty much almost centered to all this. And what it's going to have here, this is the idea I came up with, is it's going to have a smaller hose than what you would have for a shop vac. One of the main things that it's going to be needed up here is for the saw here, so that we'll have a hose that will attach right through there. And when I don't need it, I'll make another one for the planer that'll be right here, which of course it would be shooting out in this direction. I'll probably have some type of tray collection, so it sucks it and pulls it that way, so it's just a short hose from here to here. And another one that I can just put in place here, that'll be just from here to here, you know, short little hose. And I don't have to worry about the table saw because that goes underneath. Over here ain't really worth anything, so really like 3 short little hoses, but of course just connect them one at a time. But right now it's about the main parts. So the way I've kind of figured this out, what I'm going to do is trying to keep it simple as possible. What I got was, what you see here, okay, they sell like an adapter kit for your shop vac, basically for like your rigid, and you'll probably work for others too. I got a 3-piece set. This is like about $8 at Home Depot. This will usually fit like in between your shop vac hoses. And then of course, you know, you could do this, and then it's supposed to not really go in there, but this will go into your shop vac. But I had to make a little modification, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is a piece of ABS pipe. It really makes no difference whether you're using PVC, ABS, the green stuff. I'm not going to even really glue it together. I'm just going to dry fit it. That's good enough. I may just tape around it. The reason why I chose the ABS, because of the nice wide curve here. PVC tends to be water, so a sharp curve would, that's what they tend to have. The ABS usually has a nice rounded one, so it helps keeping like the debris, the dust and the sawdust that's going through to be less restrictive. But I had to make a little modification. This piece in the system here is literally doesn't, let me see if I can kind of set up a little bit. It really doesn't want to fit that good. So what I did was I took a little notch, about 1/8 of an inch on the top, to pretty much right dead center, so it'll squeeze. And it's kind of, and this piece is like rubber, so that way it squeezes in and it'll actually fit nice with a little pressure, and it fits good. And I'll just, you have a tiny little hole there, which I'll just plug that up with some hot glue or something, so that'll be fine. And then just for the sake of demonstration purposes, just going to put a piece of PVC, because that's what I had lying around, so I don't have to buy anything. And what you see, it's going to be like this, but it's going to be sticking up. But the end here, sorry, will be recessed underneath, where this piece here, because this piece fits right in, will just go right down and kind of be flush with this, so that way I won't have anything sticking up permanently, because that's kind of like not the whole point. So, and basically it's going to just run kind of straight out this way, and then the other piece here will be connected, and this will connect right to the shop vac hose. I'll probably also do like one of those DIY cyclone dust collection, but either way that stuff will be kind of just separate. I can plug it right off to the side and hook it right in, and when not used, just unplug it. That simple. But what I got to do to make this, because this don't actually fit, it's close, but the PVC pipe is just a little too wide. So this is the piece I'm actually using, because it's, that piece is really actually a little bit too short, but this is long enough. I am just taking the sander, my sander here, and I'm just kind of slowly kind of planing this down smoother and smoother. As you can see, it kind of fits a little bit, but it only fits like 3/8 of an inch in there. But I need it to go about a couple more inches, so I'm going to work on some planing, some filing down of this, get this to fit in there snug, which this end just goes right into here, snug. So you get the gist. All right, so I'm gonna work on that. We'll get that done. And as you can see, I'm kind of finishing the table project, using what the table is for. Using the bench vise, that's all plugged in. It's all hooked up, nice and good. And we'll be back in a sec. All right, just to show you how I attached it, I used black RVT silicone instant gasket maker for oil pans and automotive stuff. Actually worked pretty well since this is rubber. I'm letting it set up right now. I just put a good glob of it on the inside and then just kind of twisted this piece around, worked it in, got it in there tight. And that little hole there is somewhere, but I used it also to fill in. And it was deep and it was shallow enough where I can get my finger on the inside and just kind of spread around the inside around the seam to get a good seal. It's setting up now, but this should work pretty good for this, and it kind of blends right in. Okay, so back to the dust collecting system. I got this strapped in nice and tight where I want it to be. Just a couple band straps, and here's a shop vac hose. Fits nice and neat right in there. Pulls in and out good. And as you can see right here, part has got a little play, which is fine, but it's basically kind of flush. Sticks up a little bit, that's no big deal. I left the sawdust here from cutting the hole out for a reason, just to demonstrate, see how this is going to work. We got a small little random hose, it's just temporary. And of course there's the fitting that goes to it. So I'll just pop that in place right here. So we're connected, so all we got to do is turn on the shop vac. Oh, we got sucked in. Hallelujah. I think it's an easy success. Okay, got the insert built. It just comes in and out as needed. It's hard to do this one-handed, but here, set it down. Then when I need, just put the table saw in there, set this aside. You know, I got like a couple little crazy ideas I may actually do. I'm kind of thinking of like, I don't know, maybe instead of like wasted space, maybe do something on the underside, maybe something to attach in there just to hold stuff. Other thing I kind of thought about maybe doing, here's a little idea. Let me set this down. So maybe something like where it would be hinged some way, I don't know, or maybe even this way. That might be good too. Maybe something like this, hinge it and just let it drop place or something. I don't know yet, but some wheels in my head will turn about us. Let me just set this back down in here. Okay, well, got that. So as you can see, other than the vacuum hose still in there, let me just pull that out, put that aside. I got, and we'll pull this out, set this underneath. Got myself about like a flat working space. Of course, the other issue I gotta address is the balancing of the weight of the tools underneath it. That's why that end is dropped and this end is higher. I think what I'll just do is offset my planer a little bit so the heavier end will be over here, so that way it'll pull down a little bit more over there. Yeah, so far I'm gonna kind of say this is a wrap. There's a few little ideas I'm thinking about also doing, just little tweaks and mods or whatever. little hacks here and there. Coming to think, I'm going to add another power supply. Well, no, I'm sorry, power strip somewhere like towards the front, or actually on the outside. I did kind of notice that when I was plugging in my sanders to do some of the stuff in here, it was a little pain in the butt to always go underneath in the middle just to plug it in, when most of those ports are going to be already used up for the stuff that's already pre-built in. So I think I'll just go add another power strip somewhere, maybe like down here or something. Yeah. So anyways, I'm going to kind of say this is a wrap until I have like some other little crazy idea, and I'll add that to it as a little future video or something. So with that, until the next build, I'm out. F you.